Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Youier podcast. I am your host, Elle Edwards, founder of Youier and the Blue House. We are on season 8 of the Youier podcast, and all this season we are exploring short, sweet and actionable episodes to help you be Youier. That's you, the leader you were created to be in intentional, expectant relationship with God. Today, however, is slightly different because every episode I give you something actionable. This one, however, you're not going to really want to action it until you have circumstances that apply. What do I mean by that? Well, if you've read the title for today's episode, you know that today is called What About Those Days When You Wake Up Feeling Meh? And at the time of recording, I actually woke up this morning, and it wasn't this morning on the day this is released because we record these slightly ahead of time. But on the day that this episode was recorded, I did wake up feeling a bit, not quite meh, but a bit, what's going on? And I'm one of those annoyingly chirpy morning people. I usually wake up, raring to go. And I was like, this is very strange. What's going on? And so I walked myself through a little process that I do any time, or pretty much every time I would wake up feeling meh. And I had this nudge to share that process with you and to give you tools and resources, because let's be honest, even if you're somebody who tends to wake up feeling in a good place, if you're somebody who, life is decent at the moment, you're going through a season where everything is lovely and wonderful and you're content, you're still going to have either mornings when you wake up feeling a bit less than stellar, or you might have moments and days where suddenly you're like, I just feel a bit meh. And so again, you can use these resources, you can use these questions that I asked myself to help get you out of the meh or out of the funk. I should add that caveat. This isn't really a solution for day after day after day where you're struggling. If you're somebody who most days you're just feeling uninterested, you're feeling flat, you're feeling like your get up and go has got up and gone, if you're feeling that everything is just too much and it's all overwhelming, I want to encourage you to actually get some support, and you don't have to struggle with this on your own. I am not a licensed mental health professional, so I'm here to encourage you, and I'm absolutely, by all means send me a message and I'll do my best. But really, for those times when it's an ongoing, where your default is really actually quite low, I just want to remind you and encourage you to actually reach out and get some support. And thank you, Holy Spirit, I'm also being nudged to mention there is an onus upon us as friends and family members when we do life with people. If you notice that somebody you care about isn't their usual self, because sometimes when your default is actually quite low, it can be hard to reach out. And sometimes we need to be, if you're having a great day and you notice that somebody who you do life with is not their usual sort of chipper, sort of chirpy self, you do the reaching out. That's just a side note, really. It's not even in my notes, but I just got this nudge to mention that as well. You can be that hand reaching out to, I've got this picture in my mind of if someone's stuck down the bottom of a well, they can't climb themselves out of that well. They need someone to reach down and help them. So there is an onus on us as people who do life with other people to notice. But like I said, that's really just a side note. But if you've woken up and you're a bit like, or suddenly in the day it's just a bit like, First of all, I just want to remind you, it's okay to have those moments in days. Just because you might wake up feeling a little bit less than stellar doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Doesn't mean that you are depressed. No, we've added that caveat that if it is day after day after day, if it's an ongoing thing, then yes, you need to get help. But there will be occasions where actually you just feel like you're in a bit of a funk for no reason at all. That doesn't automatically mean that you need to suddenly like, oh no, there's something wrong with me. I need to go and, go to the doctor. Sometimes we just wake up and these things are like this. And there are, like I say, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions that you can explore. But it feels really important from the get-go just to remind you that it's okay not to be okay. And you don't need to feel guilty and beat yourself up about the fact that you haven't woken up feeling like, yay, everything's amazing. Because sometimes you don't feel like that. So with all of that said, what are the 4 questions that I took myself through this morning? And I would encourage you to take yourself through. And I will put these questions in the show notes as well, because hopefully today you're having a wonderful day and you don't need these questions. But save them for when you do, because even if most days are delightful, you're going to have moments where things feel a bit rough. So the first thing is and I would encourage you to do this with Holy Spirit, yes, you can do this on your own and think about it, but do it with God, because he knows you and he loves you, would be my go-to. Well, with that said, so the first thing is to explore, what's going on. Is there something bothering me that I've been running from? Is there something been going on behind the scenes that maybe you haven't taken time to work through, to process, as my American friends like to say? It might be that there's been some, unsettling circumstances that have bothered you, and you've been, no, I don't want to think about that. No, I don't want to explore that. That can be one reason why we wake up just feeling a bit, because it's sitting there underlying. Another question that I was exploring, is there any unresolved upset? I struggled to read my handwriting for a moment then, that's why I hesitate. Is there any unresolved upset? Have you had a quarrel with somebody and you haven't talked it through and resolved it? That can, particularly if it's somebody who you live with, they say never go to bed on an argument, but sometimes if you're wanting to speak to somebody about something and they're like, no, I don't want to talk to you about it, you might then wake up feeling like this thing is still unsettling me. Or maybe you've talked about it, but actually you haven't talked about it enough. You don't feel like you've reached a conclusion that sits well with you. Another question I would encourage you to ask yourself, did I get enough sleep? And as I am recording today's episode, part of me is like, I definitely did get enough sleep last night. However, my eyes get quite dry, and so I can sometimes feel in my eyes when my body thinks I didn't get enough sleep. Even if I was sleeping for the right amount of hours, I had over 7 hours sleep last night. But I can feel in my eyes that no, my body definitely thinks that I need some more rest. So that's another question to explore. Did I get enough rest? Did I get enough sleep? Because that is one surefire way to leave you feeling a bit flat and a bit lethargic, is because you're actually tired. And if that's the case, actually rest. I mean, if you can have a nap, great, have a nap. But be kind to yourself. If you have the opportunity to do so, don't fill your day with all of the things. Allow yourself just to go gently with this one. And then the last question I was nudged by Holy Spirit to explore was, is this even mine? This feeling I've woken up with, is it mine? We are all connected. I don't want to sound all woo-woo about it, but we are. You and me, Jesus said, I am in you and you are in me. Well, if Jesus is in you and you are in Jesus, and Jesus is in me and I am in Jesus, and we're all connected by Holy Spirit, there is this connectedness going on that we sometimes don't necessarily really appreciate. And so it might be that actually sometimes you're waking up and, actually, this feeling I've got isn't anything to do with any of the circumstances. There isn't any unresolved upset. There isn't anything that I've been running from. What I'm actually picking up on is something that somebody else is dealing with. And that's where you'd absolutely definitely need God's input in that one, because if he might give you a name and you might feel nudged to either reach out to somebody or simply, pray for them. I don't say only pray for them, because praying is like the best thing that you can do, but sometimes there's a physical action to do as well. So sometimes those feelings that we have, they might not even be ours at all. And this is not something that I've historically given a lot of store by, I'll be quite transparent, but it was definitely something I was nudged about this morning. And so I don't know whether part of the reason why I woke up feeling the way I did was in order for us to have this conversation on the podcast. I strongly suspect it is. I don't know who needs this reminder today, but I am simply following the nudges being led by Holy Spirit, like I encourage you to do. And so all of these pieces that you can explore, if you want a biblical anchor for all of this, we're in 2 Corinthians 10. This is verse 5. It says, this is Paul writing to the Corinthian church. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. This is the key bit. And we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. There's a choice in that. You don't have to sort of like yo-yo through your day from one feeling to the next and just, there's this thing and there's that thing. You do have the ability, because of the way that you are created, you have the ability to think, to engage your mind, to take these thoughts captive. What does that mean? It means to grab a hold of them. Grab hold of some of these thoughts that are whirling around in your mind And if you're like some of us, there might be an awful lot of thoughts there. And that's where I would encourage you to consider putting pen to paper. Sometimes you need to actually capture them physically by writing these things out, because sometimes there's just so much and so many moving pieces. But taking them captive, grabbing hold of them, and then making it obedient to Christ. What does that mean? Making it do what Jesus says. What does Jesus say? Well, ask him. Okay, God, tell me, what do you say about this? What's your truth about what's going on in my mind right now? What do you say about this situation that's been bothering me, and that's the reason why I've woken up? What do you say about this conflict that's unresolved? What do you say about this feeling I've got that's not mine but someone else's? Do you see how it works? We can grab hold of every single thought and explore it with God. We take every thought captive, make it obedient to Christ. And so I want to encourage you, if you do happen to have woken up and actually you've followed along with this episode because you have woken up feeling a bit just remember, this too shall pass. Not every single day needs to be like this. It could be a fleeting moment in a day. But I would encourage you, take some time, be kind to yourself, do the self-care pieces, but also take some time to explore those questions and figure out what's actually going on, because you don't need to stay stuck in this place. There's nothing wrong with you. It's okay not to feel okay. And we can work through this process together and, help you get through. Okay, if there is some stuff you need to deal with it and then move forward. If it's simply that you need to rest and then move forward. And remembering, of course, that rest looks different for lots of different people. For some people, the absolute best rest that you can have is to go outside for a walk. And actually, I would always encourage you, if you're having a day that feels a bit meh, if you can, go outside in the fresh air, go for a walk. Change your perspective, literally. We talk about changing our perspective as something that we do inside our minds, but actually sometimes literally shifting your perspective, moving yourself to a different room inside your house, or even better, moving yourself and getting some fresh air outside. All of these things will make a difference. But just be encouraged. It's not just you. This episode was recorded because I woke up feeling, like I say, not quite meh, but a little bit, there's layers to this. And so, most of the stuff that I record, if you've been here a little while, you'll know me as the person that comes here and has a smile on her face and will share joy and encouragement. And I love to do those things. But recognise that not every single moment of every single day is going to be delightful. You are going to have, moments and days where things just feel a bit, You can move past it. You can recognise what's going on, deal with what's going on, and move through it. So hopefully this will have been some help to you. Don't forget, if you are a member of the Blue House, you've always got community there where you can reach out and people to encourage you, and you've got the prayer room where we can pray for you. If you're not a member of the Blue House, why not? Come and join us. Youier.com/join. Relationship membership, you've heard me say this before. It's pay as your nudge. The minimum is just £1, which is about $1.35, I think, with the current exchange rate. There's no financial reason why you shouldn't come and join us and get to do life in community and be surrounded by other people who are exploring who they are, how they were created, and all of that good stuff. Anyway, thank you for following along. This episode has been slightly longer than the 10 minutes we aim for, but it felt important to include those extra pieces that I got nudged to include. If you do know somebody who needs this reminder, who needs this encouragement, please do share it with them. And if you're not already subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I look forward to catching up with you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.